Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Lush Gardener. So I had a question about why are my succulent leaves turning glossy. They were a bit of this matte look when they initially got it, and now the succulent leaves are starting to turn glossy. So the next question I asked them, are the leaves bending downwards, and they said yes. Now guys, this process is related with when the succulent does not get a lot of light. Probably there is a lot of light, but there is a lack in the intensity of that indirect bright light, because they mentioned that there is a lot of light but still the succulent is doing that. So most probably the intensity in the light is not enough for the succulent, hence the succulent is having that issue. Now we need to understand there are two types of succulents. Remember, not all succulents have farina. There are certain varieties that have farina, whereas there are certain varieties that do not have farina. So the ones that do not have farina will definitely have more shiny and glossy leaves. But the person, they had a succulent that was a succulent with farina, and the farina was slowly starting to get reduced and the succulent was turning glossy. When a succulent has farina, it tends to look, or it tends to have this matte look. I'm going to give you an example of this one. This is my Florence Lowy. You can see it has this very rough, or I would say a very matte look to it. The reason is because they have a good amount of farina. Now of course I've taken a lot of leaves for propagation, you might have seen in my other video, but overall if you're going to see, the succulent is kind of this matte look because it has a good amount of farina and it is receiving a good amount of morning direct sunlight for 5 to 6 hours. So this is one type of succulent with farina. They are going to have this matte look. The second variety that we have over here is aguides. Now aguides do not have a matte look on them. They are more glossy, or they are more shiny despite of giving them a good amount of light. The reason behind that is because aguides do not have farina. Champagnes do have farina, but not a lot. Probably just one streak of farina on them, but mostly champagnes are glossy. I will show you another video of champagne, but this is aguides ebony. You can see it's little shiny and it does not have any farina because aguides do not have farina. Then comes our Graptovaria bashful. Again, Graptovaria bashful does not have farina, so you can see it's very shiny, it's very glossy. So all of the succulents that do not have farina will have this glossy look to it. Even this one does not have farina. But over here I have my Graptopetalum Purple Delight. Remember, as I said in my last video, I have purchased few of the Graptopetalum Purple Delight. This was one of them. I could not sell this because it was not in a very good condition, but now slowly as I have started to acclimate it to morning direct sunlight, you can see the crown area is starting to look a little bit better. But if you're going to take a closer look, it does not have a matte finish. It's more glossy and the leaves are a little bit pushing towards the lower portion. Initially it was more bending downwards, but now because I've started to acclimate and give it morning direct sunlight, it's slowly starting to get upright, but it's a long process. But overall you can see it's doing quite well. The crown area is getting compact and it's getting its color back, and the farina is slowly coming in on the new leaves. So, but still it looks a little bit glossy as compared to the other one. This one is Echeveria amabile. You can see it is more of that matte look. It's not glossy because even this one has a good amount of farina. So you can see this one is a little bit shiny and glossy. Graptopetalum Purple Delight cannot be glossy. They have to be like the matte finish that I showed you in the earlier video. I'll give you a comparison video of my other Graptopetalum Purple Delight. So this is my Graptopetalum, which has been with me for a very long time, and you can see the recent one. You can see there is a mass difference, and you can clearly see the right one was not getting a lot of light initially, but now it is slowly starting to get. I wish I would have taken a video earlier because it was not in a very good condition. It was very glossy when I initially got it, but now it's slowly starting to recover. And you can see the colors are also missing on the lower ones. They are supposed to have this purplish color to them, but this one lacks that color, but eventually it will start to look better as in when it starts getting that proper light, because it's still in the process of acclimating. It's not completely acclimated yet, so it's going to take a while. And this was one of the reason why I didn't give this Purple Delight off, because you can see it's glossy. If I'm going to put it into the box, and if it's going to be inside the box for another 2 or 3 days, it will again start to stretch. It's not going to be in a very good condition when the person is going to receive it. Probably the leaves will bend even more and it will get even more glossy. That's not how a Purple Delight should look. You can see how matte this Graptopetalum Purple Delight looks like, because it has a good amount of farina. So that is how it's supposed to look like, and not like this. Now I'm not very sure for what reason the succulent starts to get glossy, the ones with farina. I'm not very sure about it. Probably I'll have to research a little bit about it. Why do they get glossy? But what I have noticed is the succulents that do not have farina, majority of them, I'm not saying all of them, but majority of them, the ones that do not have farina, I have noticed that they are more on the red side compared to any other color. They can be red, they can be orange, very strong or very deep orange, but majority of the times it's either on the reds or on the orange, very strong orange color. Now I'm not very sure why that happens. I'm just assuming this, so please don't quote me on this. This is just pure assumption of mine. I think probably the color red is more intense and it tends to protect the succulent from the harsh sunlight, and it tends to protect it from UV rays. Probably that's the reason why most of the succulents that do not have farina have a very strong red color. Even this one does not have farina. It will start to get red because I've just started to expose it to morning direct sunlight. You can see the edges are already starting to turn red in color. I'm not very sure about the name of the succulent. I will have to search, but it's definitely from the genus of Echeveria. So it is getting red. Our Bashful is already red, and even the Ebony as well is red in color. They have these red tips, and most of the Aguides, what I've seen is Romeo Rubin or Romeo or Christmas or Rubra. You might have seen they all are on towards the red tone compared to any other color. So probably there is something to do with this particular pigment of anthocyanin, the red color. Probably it is more protective for the succulent. That's why most of the succulents have this strong red color on them. Now this is not something that I have read, so I'm just saying that this is my assumption. Please don't quote me on this. Over the years of growing succulents, I've seen the ones that do not have farina do have this very strong orange color or very strong red color. Probably these are the two pigments that are very strong and are very intense, and it helps protect the succulent from the harsh sunlight or the UV rays. Probably that's why they tend to put out these strong red colors. So yes, this is all about it. So if you are noticing that your succulent leaves are turning glossy, especially the ones that have farina, it indicates that you have to expose them to a good amount of light. Wherever it was placed earlier, that is not working out really well. You will have to move to a place where they get a good amount of indirect bright light with a good intensity, anything above 3000 lux. So if you're growing it under the grow light, and let's say that you have placed it a little bit towards the corner and you see it's starting to turn glossy, then slowly start moving it to the center right below the grow light in order to have that beautiful compact look where the leaves are kind of upright and not bending downwards. Because that's how the succulents are supposed to look like. The moment they start to bend downwards, that indicates that it is lacking light. So that was all about it, guys. I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button, and if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe, and keep propagating.